Hey everybody, Joanne Rogers here, Design with Jo, and welcome to my studio and my Facebook Live. So I'm getting going with a new feature for you. I'm doing consistent Facebook Lives so that we can all come together and I can show you some really cute and simple and pretty projects. And maybe while we're waiting for people to jump on, you can leave me a comment and let me know where you're viewing this from so that I can give you a shout out, or I could just see where our reach is. So while we're getting going, I'm just going to get my screen going here and make sure that I can see it. There we are. Okay, so that's working perfect. So I'm going to tell you about some new things that I have. I'm doing some features. So what I'm going to do is I am focusing every week on a product. And so what I've decided, and that can be just about anything. That can be a stamp set, it could be a color, it could be a new tool, it could be embossing folders, it could be just about anything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on that project for a week, so 7 days. Starting on a Monday is when I'm going to announce what the product of the week is and end on my Sunday blog post with a final project for that. So I'm going to start with the product of a week, and that's why I'm doing the Facebook Lives around these as well. So I'll have a Facebook Live every week, and I'm going to start with a 4:30 on Wednesday, Mountain Standard Time, like we're doing today, and I'm going to see how that works, see if that works for folks, and I think that works really well for me, and I'm hoping that it works for you too. And I'm also going to have a steal of a deal, and you'll see what that's going to be. My steal of a deal can be just about anything too. So that could be it could be a card that I'm giving away, it could be a free tutorial, it could be a discount on something, it could be a buy two get one free. There's all kinds of things that I could do for the steal of the deal. I'm also going to be doing a Friday flash, and that will be a very quick tip, and everything is going to be focused on that particular product of the week. So what is going to be great is I'd like to have some wonderful conversations going on in a Facebook group. So I've just started that as well, and it's called Design with Jo VIPers. And when I said that out loud just a minute ago, I realized I probably want to change that name because that maybe is not the right association I want to have going with that name. So you can take a look for that. If you're not in the group yet, then go and take a look, and you can ask to join, and I will sign you up. And that's where going to be our community. So people are going to jump in. I want them to post things. I want you to make comments. I want you to send pictures of what you're working on. And it's really just a fun activity for us all to be involved in. So I'm going to turn you down now, and I'm going to get started talking about what we're going to be doing today. And I'm going to talk a little bit as well about this week's product of the week. So let me turn this and go down that way. And how is that? Is that looking pretty good? Here we go. Yeah, I think not too bad. Okay, so this is the first product of the week, and it is the First Frost bundle. And so this bundle is a stamp set, and this is a wonderful stamp set. And the reason why I chose it as my first one to start with is that I love how versatile it is. So I'll pull this up just a little bit. So it has roses in it, it's got some foliage, and although it's in the holiday catalog, it really only has one sort of greeting that I think is a little bit more specific to the Christmas season. There's congratulations, wishing you all the best. That could be for just about anything. And the card that we're going to do today, you're going to see that we can use it for a bunch of different things as well. So I love the set, and if you know me, you know that I'm a brush letterer, and I just love the way the font is on these greetings. And then the bundle, the part that goes with it, is the set of framelits. So there's 11 framelits here, and most of them are framelits. So all of them except for one are shapes, and they're going to outline our stamps, and we're going to use those today. You're going to see how to use them. And then there's one here that is a detailed framelit, and they're meant to go around the shapes in the stamp set. There's one that is not meant to go around the shape, and that's this leaf right here, but everything else, and this guy here is a great little tag, little label, so we're going to use that today as well. So This is the product of the week, and so if you decide that you'd like to order that this week, you're going to want to do that before Sunday. So Sunday's the last day, and if you do that, then what I'm going to send you in the mail is a 6x6 selection of every one of the Frosted Florals Designer Series paper. So I don't know if you can see this paper if I move it in the light, but it has just a gorgeous silvery sheen to it. And there's lots of different colors going on, and it is really one of my favorite sets, I think. I think it was one of the first ones I used. I thought it was going to be Joyous Noel, but this actually was the first one that I ended up using. And I want to show you how well they work together. So we made this card for my open house, and this is a super simple card. So if you want to make up a batch of these, you can do it really, really quickly. And you use pretty much, this is just your standard sized card with a reverse fold, and you've got a panel, a smaller panel on the front, and then a coordinating panel on the back, and something on the middle. So again, you can make these cards, whip up a whole bunch of them for Christmas. You can make your 25 or 50 of them, however you may have to make. But I just wanted to show you that paper in action. So again, you're going to want to order before Sunday to do that. You can do that through an email, or you can also do that through an online order. So let's get busy and make this card. Oh, sorry, one other thing I want to talk about. I have too many things I want to say. So if you are thinking about this set, I have an in-person class as well. And in this class, we are going to make these projects. And the class is Sunday, next Sunday. So what is that? That is the 26th, is it? No, that's the 28th. Next Sunday, and it's at 1 o'clock, and we will be making these projects. So we're going to work with the stamp set and the framelits, and in the class you will get a set of the framelits, and you'll get a stamp set. You'll get all the projects, and then you'll get hands-on tutorial, and also lots of tips and tricks. So if you'd like to join that class, the final day to do that is tomorrow, the 18th of October. So send me an email if that's something you'd like to do, and I'll get you on the list, and we'll have some fun together. Okay, now I think we're ready. So the card we're going to be making is this one. And I wanted to choose some colors that were a little bit different than the Designer Series paper, but ones that are coordinated really well. So this is Pool Party, and I have Tranquil Tide. This is Berry Burst, and this is, a little bit of Fresh Fig here. So this is a really simple card, very few materials in it actually. I'm going to show you just how few. So I'll put that aside for just a minute. I'm going to start with a sheet of Whisper White, and I'm using thick Whisper White, and the reason why I'm using thick is because we are going to cut out all of those dies. So here I'm going to pull all of my stamps in and my stamp pads and get myself set up and ready to go here. So I've got one that is the new stamp pad, and the rest are the older versions. So the first thing we're going to do, we're not going to use the berries right now, is I'm going to put these all on one, and I'm just going to stamp in my Pool Party, and this is the foliage, so it's like the flower with the leaves on the bottom, and you're just going to stamp that. And these stamps are made to look that they're missing a little bit. So I don't know if you can see, but it's sort of a variegated kind of surface that you're creating. So we're going to do that. My words are going to go in Tranquil Tide. Oh, I thought maybe I'd done that upside down. My roses, and I've put two on one here because we're going to be cutting it out. They're both going to be the same color. I decided that I was going to do them just on one. And this is in the Berry Burst. I just about did Fresh Fig. There you go. And if you wanted, you could probably do another one if you want. I'm going to do a lighter version of those. I'm just going to try and preserve my paper as much as possible. So I've got a lighter and a darker. And then I've got Fresh Fig. And this little guy is just almost looks like a thistle. So I'm doing one of those. So we're not quite done with the stamping, but we're done with everything except the Pool Party. So I'm just going to close these guys up. Oh. Not Pool Party, because undoubtedly I am going to put my hand in a stamp pad if I leave it sitting there. So now we're going to cut these out. So we're going to need our framelits, and I'm going to pull in my Big Shot. So on the Big Shot, you guys are getting a real deal here. I am putting brand new platforms on. So look at, they've never even been cut before, so don't all shriek when I make my first cut. So I'm going to put my piece of vanilla in there, and I'm going to take the thistle and put that right over top. And I'm using the magnetic platform, and when I have nice flat pads like this, it'll just stick down really well. And I'm going to cut out my... So what you need to do is just sort of move these around until you can see. So you can see that that doesn't actually fit right there. So it means that I haven't got it in the right place. So I move it a little bit more and it will fit and leave just a tiny little bit of the vanilla around there. So I've got my large one and I've got my small one, and I'm going to now have my large one. So I'm going to fit that one right over top. And I can get one more thing on here. I'm not going to do this guy right now. But one thing about this label is that there are two sizes. So you can get a large, I can cut this out large, or I can cut it out small. And I am going to cut it out small. So I'll move that to the side because I didn't leave quite enough room. So it's sort of nice about this one. Now, one of the things about the magnetic platform, can you see that moving around? So there's magnetic poles on it. So you just be careful when you're putting your stuff down. And if you need to, pull yourself out a little piece of your washi tape and just hold it in place. So I'm going to do that on the rose too. Okay, so I'm going to run that through. Oh, look at that. I need another piece of washi tape for this guy over here. So let me get that centered on there again. Too much talking, not watching. There we go. Okay, and run that through your Big Shot. And it's going to make all kinds of little noises. Don't worry about that. We're going to need that Big Shot again, so I'm not going to put it aside. But everything just pops right out of there. My roses got left behind. Oh, and I'm going to need to do this guy again. Actually, I'm not going to need to do him again. So he moved because I didn't have any washi tape on him. So you can maybe see there's a little bit more vanilla on there. But where I'm going to use him, I think he's going to be fine. So I don't need to worry about that. I'm going to take off these framelits and I'm just going to put on this one. So this is all the paper that we're using for this card, this one and the card base itself. So it really is an economical card. You can make a whack of these ones pretty quickly. So I'm going to get that one placed on there again and run that through. Oh. And when you're doing this yourself, just maybe if you're not talking at the same time, I bet it will go a lot easier for you. There we go. So maybe leave me a comment. What, do you guys use your framelits lots? How many people already have the first frost set? Let's see how many have it already. So now we're done with our Big Shot, so I'm going to pull that out of the way. So we have rose, we've got our thistle, we have our words. Now we're just going to stamp the rest of our card. So I've got a piece of my pool party. You can fold it in half. Pull in your bone folder and just crisp up your edges. And we're going to use the berry. So the berry, and I'm going to stamp this in 4 different spots. And the berries are going to go off to the left, off to the right, down and to the right, and then off to the left at the bottom as well. So it looks a little funny right now, but by the time we're done, you shouldn't even notice that you've got that in there. So I'm going to pull in some dimensionals and a little bit of snail. So I'm just going to put a snail here. And the reason for my snail there is that I am going to put my fig in there. Oh, and I realized I'm not quite done with the Big Shot. I forgot one thing. Hold on just a sec. I'm going to pull it back. And let me just grab one item. So we're going to use the precision base plate for this. So on this one thinlet that's in here, you want to use a precision base plate rather than just the magnetic platform. And it's because they have a lot more detail in there that they need to cut out. So I'm just going to place that right on top. What the sandwich is here is I have my Big Shot platform, I have my thin die adapter, I have my precision base plate, my paper, my cardstock rather, and my Thinlit, and I've got my my cutting mat. So you run that guy through. Now this one is going to be a little bit harder to pull out of there. So we need to use our pokey tool, also known as your paper piercer, which is on my table here somewhere. And it has gone missing. So I am going to pull this off, and I am going to try and get it off without it because I can't see it just staring me in the face here. So we're going to try, and sometimes if you've gotten a really good cut, and I did get a pretty darn good cut, it will come out of there no problem. If you have any problems with it, you can get your paper piercer tool and poke it through some of the holes that you see on it, and then it will come out. So this guy's coming out pretty good though. Well, he was until I started talking about him. Okay. So there's all the pieces that we need. So where I just put that snail, I'm going to put another snail here, and I'm going to put this guy off to the edge. And he's just going to peek out in behind. So I'm going to use my dimensionals for my words. Put that down. And I'm going to put my rows in there first, down at the bottom. So again, a little bit of snail. I'm going to have that facing down to the bottom. And then I'm going to put my words over top. So it doesn't look like much now because we're going to keep adding to it. We're going to put our words right over top so that you only see a little bit of that stuff. And I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of the rows. Just at the top. And then dimensional for this guy as well. So with this, the larger dimensionals are going to fit in quite a few of the spots, so over the leaves in particular, and up here on the berries. But they are not going to fit everywhere. I think it'll just fit on that one. So I also have my minis here, and I'm going to pull my minis off and put one right there. So pull those off. This is probably the worst part of any crafting, is trying to get these little pieces of paper off. There we go, and that's just going to sit here. And then I've got a piece of the Pool Party shimmer ribbon, and this ribbon really is very pretty. It's shimmery like the designer paper is. So I am just going to knot that. I'm not going to try and make a bow. So I'm going to knot that, and I'm going to put it on with one of my mini glue dots. So you can just put that right over top. And I'm going to put it down here. And then I've got my scissors, the ones that I only keep for cutting ribbon, because they will always stay sharp that way. And then the last thing I'm going to do is, I really do need that pokey tool, but I am going to use just a pair of tweezers, and I'm going to put on some of the pearls. And you always want to go for an uneven number. So that's 4. So I'm going to put one more. I think I'll put it down, maybe down here. So there's your card. So it went together pretty quickly, the card, once you start. So I stamped it and then just cut everything else, and really inexpensive because that was one sheet of paper. I don't even think, how big was this paper? It was maybe 2.5 by 8.5, it looks like. So a very small piece of paper, and then I still do have 2 more roses that I can cut out. And I could have used it just a little bit better and gotten a little bit more out of there too. So there's our project. Now what I want to show you is a couple other colors of it. So these are all the same colors actually, but I've just done a different card base. So tell me, maybe leave me a comment, which one of these is your favorite? So this is the Pool Party base. This one is the Tranquil Tide base, and this one is the Very Vanilla base. So I've changed up the colors on the ink a little bit, but most everything, they're all the same colors. So let me know which one is your favorite. And if you do leave me a comment, I will pull next week, I'll pull a name on my Facebook Live, and you will get these cards. So I'm just going to pull you back here and change you back. Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate the comment. So thanks very much for joining me today, and take a look on my Facebook group and on my Facebook business page for more stuff coming, and the Friday Flash to see what my tip of the week is going to be, and get in on the Facebook group. So take a look at the Design with Joe VIPers. I'm going to change that name, and get in on the action, get in on the commenting, and let's just have some fun. So thanks very much for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Deborah. Bye-bye.